I've always lived pretty close to the river, and I've been in a lot of floods. It's just devastating. You go in your house and there's probably 4 to 6 inches of mud in the house. You got to scoop it outside, you got to wash it down, and you got to deal with the mold.
Every flood event seemed to get worse every time we've had it, and 2019 was exponentially worse than all the others combined. I live right on the bluff, and it was water from bluff to bluff for 200 days and damage beyond belief.
The majority, I would say, of the levee systems were overtopped, just water everywhere. If you would see before and after photos, it's the river's a small portion here and then water everywhere. It was like an ocean.
My earliest memories of the levee system and the floods go back to when I could probably barely even remember. My dad was a member of the drainage district, and the drainage district worked closely with the levee board members. The levee board members were obviously our close friends, and whether we were dealing with an issue on the levee or high water and sandbagging, at a young age, this is a family event. I mean, the whole community gets involved in it when it happens. The levee system was built around 1950, finished in 1952. For the most part, it is the same system that was here 70 years ago, and it was very effective. Today on the river, we're dealing with a whole different set of circumstances. The river is silted in, it doesn't have the capacity, and there's just not enough room for it to flow anymore. This levee was made to take water against it for a few days, and now we're getting a few months of high water, of water with very little freeboard. Those levees were not designed to have water against them for long periods of time. 93 was a bad flood, we thought. But then we come back in 2011, it's a little bit worse. Every time you fix your levee, the flood gets a little worse. Not only does it flood, but the water's got to get out. 2019 was exponentially worse than all the others combined. And that's what brought us to the realization, hey, we need to do something different. We need to do something so in 50 years, our kids' aren't going through this same process over and over again. The Corps of Engineers is our partner in the PL 8499 contract. They actually build the levee. The levee district is what's referred to as the sponsor. The sponsor is responsible for real estate, for setbacks, and borrow for repair. Because we're in a 100% program, that's the only part we're responsible for. After you've flooded, the Corps has to determine the least cost alternative for repair.
How do you repair a levee system? Option one is you can repair what was there and just plug the breaches, repair all the damaged sections, and bring it back to what it was originally. And really, that's our mission, is to repair to what was pre-flood. But L-536 is very different. L-536 was so damaged that when we were considering, well, how about do a setback, how about create a brand new levee behind it and open up the river, the cost comparison was pretty similar.
Construction of levee setbacks is a really important thing for the Missouri River, its habitat, its ecosystem, its flood risk management. And when we have opportunities to rebuild levees, that really is a great opportunity to take the time, change how we would have done things back in 1930 or 1880, think through a better place for the levee, think through a safer place for the levee, a better place for the ecosystem, and try and make a better levee system at those times. And if we can take those opportunities to spend the time to do it right, we end up with a better river system.
In terms of the benefit that a setback creates, the whole community and all the different agencies were on board and said, well, we got to do this. Let's go ahead and do it. And so that's when we ran with it.
Say you set back a mile from the current levee, all of a sudden there's thousands of acres that were on the dry side of the levee that now are on the water side of the levee. Now, we don't legally have a responsibility, but ethically, we can't just move the levee and say, hey, sorry, you're inside the levee now. So what we needed was a program to purchase that land and make those landowners whole again. A lot of them with ground that's totally destroyed, some of them with ground that's totally fine. But you know, you're getting to millions and millions of dollars. A levee district like ours, there's no way we could purchase that. We actually hired a consultant and he started working through and looking at alternatives and ways to have a funding mechanism to purchase this ground. And through that, there were a lot of different agencies and interest groups, but the Nature Conservancy quickly rose to the top as the one that really had the same interest as us. They were not just looking at it for their own good.
One of the things that the Nature Conservancy can do as a nonprofit is to bring and convene people. And so that's what I did. I brought together our partners from across the state with Atchison County Levee District and the Army Corps, and just set up a partner meeting in St. Joe in August of 2019 to talk. And we identified a lot of barriers, a lot of problems, and yet there was a lot of excitement and interest in making something happen. Every single partner was critical in a variety of ways to figure out a problem, find a funding source, find a technical solution, find a political solution, and move things forward.
We had very good cooperation. Every different entity had something to gain from the levee being set back. We all had a common interest. Everybody trusted us a lot that we were trying to do what was right for the community. We needed a funding mechanism to compensate these landowners. This is where we found the NRCS.
The Natural Resources Conservation Service is a branch for the Department of Agriculture. We have several programs throughout the state where we assist landowners in conservation practices for the environment, for erosion control, water quality. The branch I work under is easements, and working with the Corps and the Nature Conservancy, we were able to move this levee back, open the floodplain up, and with our easement program, help these farmers with some monetary value to set this ground back into an easement.
The National Resources Conservation Service has a program for permanent easements on flood ground that has been damaged by large flood events. It's much like a CRP Conservation Reserve Program, but it's not a yearly payment. It's a one-time, lifetime easement, basically. There's a couple options. But it will get a significant portion of the value of that land back to the landowners. And in turn, it turns it into conservation ground, which can be utilized by everyone. Farmers are some of the best conservationists that there are. Max Peeler is a great example of that. Max has lived and breathed the Missouri River and levee system all his life. He's a very valuable source of information for us on this whole system. And he had the communication with the Corps of Engineers. And he also is a landowner and a farmer down there in the section where we needed a setback. Out of all the landowners we had down there, we presented them with the idea of the NRCS. And of course, right away, the first one to say, hey, I'll work with you however it is, was Max Peeler.
Well, it is hard to give up the land. You think, God, You hate to give up land, but when we started looking to wetlands, it seemed like the right thing to do. Make it so people down the road can have places to hunt and fish and camp down there. And I think it'll make a really nice spot.
The NRCS got us a good portion of the market value of those farms, but we still needed a residual value to bring it up to what we really felt like they should be compensated for.
We in our project found ways, these landowners, most of them wanted to no longer own the land, so we found innovative ways to compensate the landowner financially for that land, and so that they could have then money to invest in other farmland in another location.
So now we jump forward a year and a half and we're full-on construction of not only levee repairs, but a setback levee. All of the contractors and all the workers and all the equipment that's being used here is our local people. And they have a personal interest in getting it fixed correctly. And the great deal is the Corps of Engineers allows that to happen. They want it just as much as us because they see the personal interest that these workers have in repairing the levee and fixing it.
The Corps of Engineers is known for doing a lot of big deal projects, but in terms of setback projects, this is the biggest deal that our district has had to work on, in my lifetime at least. We're looking to move about 2 million cubic yards of material in less than a year, in 8-9 months. It's just an incredible amount of manpower needed to move all this material and create this new setback. Hundreds of thousands of man-hours will be utilized at the end of this project. Honestly, it's a sacrifice for people's family too, because we're working 7 days a week, 12-hour days, but the sacrifice and the man-hours and effort over a long period of time is ultimately worth it because we're helping restore the community. We're giving back in a way that's very unique that not a lot of people get to experience in their life.
L-536 is an incredible demonstration project that other landowners and levee districts up and down the Missouri River can look to as one of the tools in the toolbox to help them dealing with the catastrophic flooding that they're all facing, we're all facing right now on the Missouri River. And it's teaching us the complexity of this type of project and the pathway forward to implementing this kind of project. The intention is to take the information here and work with all of our partners that work at the state and federal level to improve those programs so that it becomes easier for other levee districts to make this choice to use this tool.
Don't think you can't do it. There are funding mechanisms to get this done. They're not easy, but we also hope to help that become easier.
The Atchison County Levee District that we've been able to partner with has been phenomenal in terms of their dedication to work with the different landowners. They don't shy away whenever a hurdle comes. They say, well, what can we do about it? They give us different options. They just go above and beyond. It's really been a privilege to work with them.
The key, the most important ingredient was the levee board itself. Their vision, their passion and commitment and willingness to really try something new and put their time and energy into it and passion was invaluable.
I was on the levee board for quite a long time. I know a lot of the work they're having to do. I really appreciate what they're doing because I know it's taken a lot of work to do it. And the Corps of Engineers is taking a big deal on their part. They've did a lot of work.
They label me as the president, but we're a board that works all together. And we have a very incredible board that has put in an unbelievable amount of hours on this. We all do it together.
I'm just tremendously proud of the entire team. I'm just so motivated by helping the community and seeing people get back on their feet, seeing that when people come together, you can do really incredible things. At the end of the day, it's not like a medal or money that really matters, but being able to impact and do something for your neighbor, that's so worth it. I love it.
It brings a lot of optimism about our future, that there are so many people out there working away in different agencies and landowners who are willing to take a chance and do something different, and gives me a lot of hope for the future.
For me, living on and around the river is just a way of life, like it is for many people. I could go live anywhere, but there's literally no place to live like around here. Conservation to me is walking the fine line of coexisting with nature and still surviving in your community and using the resources to benefit everyone. It's just not the conservation of just the river, it's the whole ecosystem that surrounds it. We all revolve around the river, whether we realize it or not. And to even clarify more how I think of it, I just had twins, and it's a little boy and a little girl, and the little boy's name is River James. And we have a great interest in keeping this ground in as good or better shape than it was for everyone, preserving the nature, and also coexisting with it. Because what we find is we both benefit each other whenever it's done correctly.